bus is full and it's off. Some kind of a killer bus. So he collected all the passengers and now he's going somewhere to dump them. So which pickup truck is better if we're talking about heavy duty diesel trucks? Ram 3500 with a Cummins or Ford F-350 with a Power Stroke? And since our company now getting 2 new trucks, you know, I decided to ask them why they went with a Ford. And one of the managers said if he was buying a truck for himself, he would go with the Ram 3500. But for business customers, and of course we are a business, he says a Ford F-350 makes more sense. Basically something he mentioned, something about availability of parts and the amount of dealers. I don't know, but he says it's kind of like a nightmare to take care of a Ram 3500 from what I understood. So there you have it. So if you buy it for personal use, our boss's recommendation is a Ram 3500. If you're buying it for corporate use or business use, Ford F-350 because of better support and parts availability. Yesterday, Tuesday, there was a big accident on Deerfoot Highway 2 North at Airport Trail. You know, I was driving north and the speed limit changes from 100 kilometers an hour to 110, so everybody pushes it, you know. And then all of a sudden everything stops. Everything stops, and I see a step deck truck, a semi truck with a step deck trailer, sitting on the shoulder, right on the overpass over Airport Trail. And there's some kind of big box, kind of looks like, you know, a pack of cigarettes, except it's like 50 times bigger. So probably 5 meters tall, you know, like 15 feet tall probably. And basically, yeah, kind of like a case of cigarettes, but much bigger. And it just fell down. It fell down, and it's sitting, and it's blocking one lane. So out of 3 lanes, we lost 1 lane because his cargo is just lying there, and this guy walking around doing something with his chains, and people are going nuts. And then I told my dispatcher about this, and then they sent me down back to Midtown, so I had to come back through the same spot. And by this time the traffic jam already was starting at Beddington Trail, all the way from Beddington Trail to Airport Trail, where the accident was. Like, you know, it's like 5 kilometers, you know, 3 miles. And so Apple Maps sent me on a detour so that I can gain like probably 10 minutes. But I'm guessing the guy did not secure it properly, because it had that thing. It was, you know, like this pretty much, right? But just a bit wider. And so it had a very narrow base, but it was tall. And so I think he probably just put chains at the bottom, and he didn't put any straps over the top. And so maybe there was some wind, because this happened right on the overpass. It's like an open space. So maybe there was some wind, and it just blew it over. It's like, I don't know what's the end of that is, but I know that a lot of people were were not super happy with that heavy traffic yesterday. And in other news, winter was super slow for photography compared to last year. Last year I was doing all kinds of events and parties and Christmas parties. This year, nothing. Had a couple of inquiries, but they were totally stupid. You know, people would not agree to my price. But then eventually I got something. A lady texted me this morning saying that they're having a school reunion, and would I be available for 3 hours to do, you know, kind of like informal portraits. So I just basically walk around and take pictures of people. You know, beautiful, kind of like street photography, except they pay you for it, right? And she says, yeah, it's just basically random photography, and then kind of like, you know, casual photography, and then there'll be a couple of group photos. And I said, hey, if it's 3 hours, should be somewhere between $250, $300, and I'm available after 6. Like, are there any details? And she said, yeah, they're going to be like 50, 60 people. Give me the name of the place. So it's like 20 minutes away from my home, not too far. And it's Saturday in February. So I hope she does not change her mind before that. And she said her budget is $250. I said, fine, works for me. So $250 in 3 hours, right? So that's what, $83 an hour. That definitely beats my current job, and it definitely beats Uber. Uber, to make $250, I would have to be there to work for 10 hours. And that's, you know, that's why you gotta love photography, because it's a much higher, a much more qualified skill, right? Because, you know, and I have all these, well, right now I only have one camera, 3 lenses, a tripod, monopod. And I said I can do a couple of informal videos for social media. I said, you know, like GoPro or the phone. You know, let's say when they dance or something, right? People love video. And yeah, so I'll be shooting for 3 hours. Love this stuff. And it's some kind of a, I saw the picture of this building. It's where they have parties, weddings, you know, like basically like an event center. Well, I made it to my pickup location. It's a Pure Later warehouse, and now waiting for the guy to show up. And it's interesting that I don't see any triaxle trailers, which are super common in Alberta. And if somebody from UK was watching this, what would be the difference? First off, 2 axles in the back. I think in Europe most trailers have 3 axles, or in the UK, right? And also their trailers are much higher. Like here it's 13 feet 6 inches is a legal height. And they also have these super short trailers that they can hook up to and make it kind of like a train, B-train. And here's one of their trucks. Oops. So it's a day cab Volvo. No sleeper. So you're not supposed to sleep. You work all day, all night. By the way, speaking about YouTube, if you're doing YouTube videos about your work, a good strategy is never talk bad about the company and its customers. And if you remember back in 2014, when I left Landstar and I joined a little outfit out of Orangeville, Ontario. It was called Premium Ventures. I told the guy, the boss, that, you know, would it be okay if I keep doing videos? I said, you know, it gives me a couple of extra bucks and it's not going to interfere with my work. But that was my truck, right? It was my truck, my trailer, so I was an owner operator. And that's the advice my boss back then gave me. He says, we are fine with videos as long as you don't talk bad about the company and you don't talk bad about our customers. And imagine some people would use YouTube just to vent their frustration. Oh, you know, these idiots, you know, blah, 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 blah. But most people, as long as you stay, you know, neutral, and specifically don't mention customers by name, you know, don't talk about policies, and probably don't talk about your co-workers in a derogatory manner. So it should be okay, right? As long as you don't take time out of your work time. Well, this is the first run of the day. Today is Thursday. I'm delivering a large boom lift, about 10,000 pounds, to downtown 8th Avenue, smack in the middle of that pedestrian zone. But I'm told there's a gate that I can open and I can drive in. Well, I just finished unloading that orange machine, the boom lift, and I'm in the pedestrian zone. Look at this. It's so pretty. The guy says he'll be either taking off the flags or adding some flags. That's why he needs this boom lift. At the exit from the plaza, and I don't know if you can see right behind the stop sign there's a direction sign which says turn right only. It's in the middle of the frame, hard to see, but what's been happening here, that quite often cops would sit here and you get a ticket for going left because there's a break there in the pavement, and instead what they wanted to do is they wanted to go to the roundabout, and you see there's a cop sitting there. They wanted to go to the roundabout and go around, and that's how you do a U-turn. Whereas over there, now look, of course, usually they use unmarked vehicles, so here the guy is sitting in a clearly recognizable police pickup truck, so I don't think he'll catch anybody, but that's what he's doing. So that's his goal, is to catch people that instead of going right, they're going left. All right, you see, so basically he decided to change the position. Oh, maybe now I'm in trouble. machines, they're so familiar. Well, this is Liebherr. You see that scrap metal processing machine. I moved Sonebogen, German ones. Those are green. But looks like these guys, they have all Liebherr because all these machines are the same color. See? But they're very cool. I moved them, I loaded one by myself on the trailer, and I brought it from Georgia, Savannah, Georgia, to Montreal. It was a crazy run, and then in the end it broke. It was so heavy, 110,000 pounds, it broke 2 boards in the floor of my trailer.